Hey guys, it's Jacqueline, and welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. So today's video is a base game home as per, not very usual, but it's going to become more usual because if you didn't watch my last base game build, which was like last week, I am planning on doing like one base game build a week for the foreseeable future because I'm making a base game save file, if you did not know, and that is kind of a big endeavor, and I've been underestimating the number of lots I have to do and stuff, so I want to like do, I just want to do them as frequently as I can until that is kind of like, I have made more progress on it, I guess, because right now I've sort of just like started everything out, and it's kind of like, well, that's nice, but when are you gonna actually do stuff on it, you know? So that is my goal, and I'm gonna try to do like one a week or so. This one is in Willow Creek, and it's sort of New Orleans inspired because that is pretty much what I'm doing for the entire world of Willow Creek. If you didn't know, the developers of The Sims 4 have said that this world, Willow Creek, is inspired by New Orleans. I wouldn't know, I've never been there, but that's what they say, and based on pictures I've seen and stuff, definitely I can see how the world is inspired, and also especially for like the windows and doors and stuff, they've made a lot of windows and doors that go really well with the style in New Orleans, which I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's like French Creole or something. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe the style, but it's very bright and colorful and like ornate, and there's a lot of like detailing and stuff on the windows and doors and whatnot, which definitely is featured very prominently in some of the base game kind of both like build objects and buy objects as well. So I feel like it would be kind of stupid to try to do something else in this world when I'm only using the base game. Like if I had other packs, it would be easier to do something else, but because the base game like clearly caters so much towards this style, I felt like I should just embrace it. And it also is a really pretty style, although I'm not that comfortable with it, but that's okay. I'm gonna get more comfortable. So I've done already 2 builds in this world, and one of them was sort of like a Georgian style colonial mansion, and that one was like really big and fancy. It was a 2-parter. It was for the Spencer Kim Lewis family, so if you want to watch that, I'll probably put it in the cards if I remember to. And then the other one I did was in the like starter neighborhood. I did a shotgun house, and this one is also shotgun, but I believe it's like a shotgun townhouse. I'm not really sure what the difference there. I mean, obviously townhouses would be 2 stories, so that's like the main architectural difference that I tried, but they're definitely very similar in terms of style. So that's the goal there, and I'm definitely, like I said, taking a lot of inspiration from New Orleans for this entire save file world. So I already have my Pinterest boards made. My Pinterest boards for this are so pretty. If only you could see them. You don't understand. They're so pretty. But so I'm trying to like take inspiration from those as much as I can, and then also yeah, I don't know, I mean, obviously there's like different neighborhoods in New Orleans as well, so I'm sort of like utilizing those and using them to dictate the different neighborhoods here, which I feel like is not that hard. Like the commercial area is going to be pretty inspired by the French Quarter, and then the like area that's fancier than this, because this is kind of like the middle grade area in my mind at least. So the area that's like slightly fancier, it has 4 lots, they're kind of like in a square shape. That one is going to be based on the Garden District in New Orleans, which if you guys haven't seen pictures, by the way, of just like New Orleans, it's so pretty. Oh my god, I want to go there. Probably never will, but it's really pretty. It's very pretty. I met someone from there once when I was in New York. This guy who, because we were in an elevator in New York, me and my sister, I think, and he was like, oh, hi, and we're like, oh, hi, and then he just started talking to us about, like, New Orleans, and it was cool. He told us never to go to the French Quarter, though, and I stayed very silent, naturally, because I don't talk to people I don't know, but, like, he was very nice, and, yeah, he told us not to go to the French Quarter. I don't really know why. He said it's overhyped, which I would not be surprised by, because I feel like most, like, travel destinations are always overhyped. It's like I know California is, like, this travel place. I mean, not where I live. People just come here on business where I live, but, of course, there's, like, LA and San Francisco and stuff. They're, like, travel destinations, and it's so funny to me, because, like, every time I've been to those places, like, it's not that great, you know? But it's fine. Anyway, for the people that I was imagining to live in this house, I was thinking it would be roommates, and they were roommates. Oh my god, they were roommates. Sorry, I don't know why I keep making Vine references. Listen, I was a child when Vine was a thing. I literally wasn't even, like, active on the internet, so I don't know why I, like, it's still deeply ingrained in my culture, though, is internet culture, and therefore I like Vine. But so they're roommates, and I was thinking like 4 roommates. There are 2 that are a couple, and then there's 2 that are like not a couple, so they sleep in their own rooms and stuff. And some of them, I was kind of thinking, if you're familiar with Strangerville, what a pack. By the way, Strangerville, I don't know if any of you are just like really into this style. For some reason, I figured I would throw this in there. Strangerville has really great items in this style. Obviously, I'm not using them because this is a base game, but those are really pretty objects and that come with Strangerville that really play well into this kind of New Orleans-y style. So if you are ever looking for more of those like super colorful windows and like with the fancy shutters and all that stuff, Strangerville, that's your pack. But anyway, if you are familiar with Strangerville, you'll be familiar with this household called the Eclectic Arts Household. And that is kind of like who I was thinking would live here, but not obviously the actual Eclectic Arts Household. I'm gonna make my own household. And it's not entirely artsy people either, but I was just mainly thinking like the roommates thing. There's 4 of them, so I don't feel like it's that unrealistic for them to be able to afford this house, because there's 4 of them. They're, like I said, I was thinking they're young adults, so they might not be making that much money. I don't know if it's unrealistic for them to live here or not, but I was kind of thinking that they all went to university and stuff, and then they were friends, and this was like their dream house, this sort of like Victorian, it's not really Victorian, but you know, this like kind of old house, and they thought it was really pretty and stuff, so they are renting it together, and they're living here together, and I just thought it was a nice idea. And 2 or 3 of them I was thinking are pretty artsy. So there's one of them that's like a film major, which I believe is the last room I do, and film major, need I say more, area? No, oh god, A24 obsessed, probably, and, you know, just into all of that stuff. They're like your film major, your artsy film major friend, you know? Do we all know that person? Yeah, I'm not in college, so I don't have a film major friend, but I have some friends that are definitely gonna be film majors. Won't call them out, but they, yeah. Anyway, so there's that, and then the couple I was thinking were also, they're like the artsy couple, quote unquote, so they're like painters and whatever, I don't know. Probably one of them's like a writer, the next Hemingway. Oh lord. Yeah. So they're all kind of like got that going on. Very millennial of them, right? It's fine. I don't know. I don't think that's bad necessarily. I think it's fine to follow creative pursuits. It's just kind of like difficult to live off of that in the current economy, because that's not really like people don't really, I feel like, because people usually enjoy creative jobs, right? Like it's like following their passion or something, and if you enjoy something, the mindset is usually like, oh, why would I pay you to do something you enjoy, you know? So I feel like it would be, probably they would not have that much money, but I don't know, because the last one is an engineer / like super into robotics, so that one is probably making more money because it's like STEM related and stuff, and they're all friends. So there's that. That is like pretty much the personalities, and I had a really hard time furnishing this house, partly because of that, because like I said, I was imagining that they're like roommates and stuff, and they're younger, so I kind of didn't want to do like super traditional kind of like antique furniture, but I also really wanted to match the like outside style of the house on the inside, but I also didn't want to do it like unrealistic. Like I was like, they're like pretty young, they wouldn't be able to afford like super fancy furniture, you know? So I had a bit of a struggle. It was kind of hard, but I feel like I like the way that it turns out, but it was a process. You'll have to bear with me too when you're watching the interior, because I do the kitchen and the entryway and dining room before I do the living room, and the living room is kind of where I like figured out the vibe. So forgive me for that. I do go back a little bit and like fix up the kitchen and dining room, I think, to like make them better once I know what I want to do, but it's okay. It's always a process, right? I don't know. But it's definitely like imperfect. Like it's certainly not super put together, which is what I like to do usually when I'm furnishing stuff, but I was trying to make it realistic, you know? Like in reality, they probably wouldn't have a bunch of super like matchy stuff and that kind of thing. So that was what I went for with the furnishing. But if you have any tips for furnishing like this style of like New Orleans kind of houses, because I struggle with them. I also was having a hard time when I was doing the one for my base game shotgun house, so that was also for the save file. I had a hard time with that one at first, but I figured it out in the end. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, but I just don't want to do the same like exact style over and over again, if you know what I mean. So it should be interesting. It should be a fun adventure. Anyway, that is what I have to say about the furnishing, I suppose. Base game is very limited. That's really it. Base game is very limited. And I feel like I'm just forgetting all of my little tricks that I used to know about, like how to like make the most of the objects that we do have in the base game. Because of course you could do some really clever stuff. I'm just forgetting all of the clever stuff that you can do. So that's unfortunate, but I'll remember. I'm gonna watch some base game speed builds and like take inspiration from other people, because people are very talented in this game, and sometimes sometimes I watch people's builds and I'm like, what is the point? Why am I even trying to do anything? Because people are just so good at this game, but it's okay. You know, we can only do the best we can. So there's that. Furnishing, just a struggle with a capital S, I guess, but it's okay. And the bedrooms, by the way, I don't know why I did this, but I didn't do the wallpapering on any of them until I like finished the bedroom, and it was so weird because usually I do the wallpaper first, but I guess I was just having a hard time like picking the wallpaper and then matching furniture to it, so I decided to just do the furniture and then match the wallpaper to that first, which was a lot easier. So woohoo. And I was just incredibly indecisive with this entire build, like, to say the least, because this was gonna be like a 35-minute video. I cut out a lot of my like, what am I doing with my life and what am I doing with this build kind of crisis-y stuff, because I really had no idea where I was going for the vast majority of it. So hopefully you guys don't mind. Like, this is my second time redoing the kitchen that you're seeing here, and it's still bad, so yikes. Oh well. But today I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about the Star Wars pack, for two reasons. One, I feel like the anger that is being experienced around it has somewhat died down, which means we can have more of a civil conversation about our feelings on it, right? Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe it's just the anger has died down because people have stopped talking about it, and if I talk about it, people are going to get angry again. But I don't think anybody really cares that much. And then secondly, we have seen some game changer content on it now, which has been some mixed opinions. I have really only seen, to be fair, I've only seen like 2 videos on it. One of them was like an overview of all the build buy in the pack, and then the other one was Plumbella's video on it. So perhaps I've got a bit of a biased sampling there, but I feel like because we've actually seen the gameplay now, we can make our evaluations on whether or not it's actually a good pack, and like not be so worried about like whether it should have been made in the first place, and we could just talk about if it's bad or not, right? I feel like we can have a more civil conversation, just actually making like a solid pro-con list and being like, okay, here's the good things, here's the bad things. So good things, leave them in the comments. I don't have any really. I just don't think it was a good idea in the first place, but that's irrelevant because even if they take something that's not necessarily a good idea, I feel like they still have the skill set required to make it into a good pack in the end. Like Eco Lifestyle, for example. I wouldn't have thought of that as like a good idea for a pack, but if you ask me now like what my thoughts are on Eco Lifestyle, I think it's a great pack. Like, I really am quite happy with it. And I think it might be one of the best expansion packs we have, actually, at least in terms of what I do with it, which is build mainly. Now let's take Star Wars. So this will be from the perspective of a builder, because I'm me, and I mainly only build in the game. So that's really what I feel like equipped to have an opinion on. So they have done a thing, an interesting decision was made, which is that they've put a bunch of new build and buy objects into the game. I know there's a lot of them too. Like, that's something some people are excited about, is that there's a lot of new items in the pack, which is good, except that none of them are really like usable. You know, it's like Strangerville. Strangerville came with a bunch of, all the Strangerville build objects were really good, but the Strangerville buy objects, a lot of them are like stuff you'll never ever use, you know? Or it has a very niche use, I suppose. Like, you're not going to use that in an everyday build, which is what I think happened with Star Wars. And the issue here with that isn't that they're super niche objects, because I feel like you could still get away from having a really niche pack, and that doesn't make it bad automatically. The problem is that there's not a single lot in whatever it's called, Batu, I think. There's not a single lot that you can build on. That makes no sense. Like, oh God. So it's literally a destination world that you visit. You cannot build on any of the lots, but yet you get all these objects that are super catered towards that style. It doesn't make any sense, because where are you going to use those objects? Like, realistically, where you're going to buy that pack and you're going to use those objects where? Like, nowhere. And just to be clear, by the way, I'm not getting this pack, so like I don't have a vested, like, as soon as we knew it was Star Wars, I was like, I'm not getting it because it's just not my thing. So I don't really have like a vested interest in making this a great pack, because even if they did have like cooler build objects, I don't know that I would necessarily get it, although great, I usually get all the packs. That is changing this time around apparently. But it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, the decision to do that, to put a bunch of like random objects in that are very difficult to use in regular circumstances, and then to not have any lots in this outlandish world that you're not gonna, probably people won't play in it anyway, because like it's just not the type of thing that most people play in, I feel. But not to have any editable lots. Like, you can't live there. It's a destination world, and you can't even make like vacation homes or anything. So when are you going to use those objects? That's my question. Like, who's gonna buy the pack and use the objects? Because they seem like good objects. They seem like objects that had some effort put into them. Like, that was my first reaction when I saw the pack. I was not happy that it was a thing that existed, but I was like, wow, they've put some effort into these build objects. They've put some effort into this world. Like, that's great, you know? I'm really happy for people that are happy for this pack because it looks like it'll be good, which I take back now. I rescind. But it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it seems like a terrible decision. And the thing is that I was kind of under the impression, as I feel were most of the community, that this was like a pack that was being forced on the devs. Like, that EA was like, okay, here, we have this deal with Disney and you have to make a Star Wars pack now. But then they were on Twitter being like, no, we were really excited to make this pack and we're super proud of this pack. But how? How are you going to be proud of a pack where you made all of these build objects? Like, be proud of the build objects. I'm proud of the build objects. I think they're great quality. But how are you going to be proud of a pack that doesn't have any buildable lots? And there's no world. And there's a bunch of build objects that no one's ever going to use. And the gameplay, from what I can see, is not that deep. And the thing with that is that Star Wars is a movie franchise that is like all about these deep storylines that like intertwine with each other and connect to each other, and they're really like, I don't know, emotional and developed and stuff. And The Sims is notorious for not, The Sims 4 at least, is notorious for not being able to have those kind of storylines. Like, you just can't do something that deep in The Sims because it's not made like that. And frankly, I don't really care if they fix that at some point, because it's not really my cup of tea to play the game anyway, so I don't have that much of an issue with the gameplay, although I know a lot of people do. And I do think that like they've been taking a lot of money, right? Like, if you've paid for this entire game at full price, which I doubt really most people have paid for the entire game at full price, like I haven't, because most of the packs I bought on sale before like I started buying them when they came out, but if you did pay full price for the game, you paid like $700, okay? And this was for a game that we've constantly been like having faith will be fixed or like updated, upgraded somehow, like they'll make the game better, right? That's what we've been thinking. But at this point, it kind of like The Sims 4 is coming to its end, right? Like, we're not gonna The Sims 4 isn't gonna go on forever. And they still haven't like made it good in the basic senses. Like, that's my problem. That's my issue, is that it's still like not a great game. And people, like, I feel like this outrage over the Star Wars pack, it really just has to do with people feeling like it really cemented in their minds, like, okay, this is it. Like, they're not listening to us, which has been a problem for a while. And people get very angry at the gurus, which I think is always problematic. Like, you don't ever send hate to anyone. Like, that's just, it won't do anything except for hurt people's feelings, and that's unnecessary and toxic to the community. But at the same time, I do understand where like the hate is coming from, because people have been giving constructive criticism, quote unquote, for the duration of the game, right? And they have nothing to show for it. Like, it kind of feels like we've just had all of this stuff that we've been saying, and then they like don't do anything with it, which I understand how that would infuriate people to some extent, because they're like saying all this stuff and they care about the game a lot and they've invested a lot of money in it, but then it doesn't feel like it's getting any better. So that's that. I think that the Star Wars pack has polarized the Sims crowd on bigger issues than the pack itself. Like, I think it's really shown a difference in how people think it's okay to treat the developers, and like how much people think they are entitled to a good game. And I don't really know how I feel about that, honestly, because like, well, I don't want to get into like how the entitlement plays into it, but it is interesting to think about that like at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of people like arguing over a video game. I don't know, sometimes I think about that and I'm like, wow, humanity has really evolved to such a state, because the thing is, there are people suffering. There's like people that I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that stuff, because that's a deeper like moral issue. But it doesn't really negate the fact that people would be upset about this. So anyway, there's that, and that's really all I have to say about Star Wars, I guess. Let me know your opinions civilly, if you have any civil opinions, because I do want to like actually talk about it with people, because it's an interesting thing to discuss. But yeah, as far as it goes, I'm not getting it, so it doesn't really matter that much to me at the end of the day. But I understand why a lot of people are really frustrated about it. So anyway, this is a longer video than I was expecting, so I'm not really sure what else to talk about. Let's see. While I built this, what was I? Oh, okay. I was listening to Daisy Jones and the Six, the audiobook, which is glorious, and you should all listen to it. It's on this app called Libby, because I've wanted to listen to it, or like, actually I wanted to read it for a while, but that would require buying the book or getting the book, and my library didn't have the book. My library, like my school library and my public library, neither of them had it, and I've wanted to read it for a really long time, because BookTube loves Daisy Jones and the Six. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's a great book, but like, there's a lot of great books, and sometimes they just latch onto a book and they're like, this is it. This is our like revered great book, our beloved. And it is a very good book so far, so you should all read it. It's on this app called Libby, which is like, it basically, I don't know if it works outside of the US, but in the US, it's this app that like partners with public libraries and stuff, and then they have like ebooks and audiobooks on there, so that's really fun. I like using it a lot, because I haven't been able to go to the actual library ever, and I don't have my school library, obviously, so I miss books. And I also bought some books recently on Thrift Books, which was great. I've been broke for a while, because I bought a computer, but I could afford some books, and it was very fun. If you don't know what Thrift Books is, I don't know where you've been. That also might be a US only thing, though. I know they have free shipping in the US. I think they also ship to other countries, but it might not be free, probably expensive to ship, because they all ship from warehouses in the US, but it's like a secondhand bookstore, which is great. You should buy from there, not Amazon. Don't buy your books from Amazon, everybody. I mean, I guess, buy your books from Amazon if you want to. I recently learned that Book Depository is owned by Amazon, and that kind of ruined my life, not gonna lie, because I have a thing against Amazon, which I don't want to get into, because people get very mad at me for having strong opinions about it sometimes, but Thrift Books, very good service, and so I got some books on there. But Daisy Jones and the Six, guys, it's such a good audiobook. Like, the audio, because the way it's written is like a script kind of thing, so it serves really well to be an audiobook, because like, you have all the different voices, and the cast is so good. Oh my god, just listen to it, okay? If you can get Libby and listen to Daisy Jones and the Six, it's so good. But I guess it's kind of mature content, so maybe be careful. It depends on how old you are, I guess. If it's like 13 and up, you're probably fine to listen to it. I don't really know, actually. I'm trying to think through. I haven't listened to the whole thing either, so I don't know how like bad it gets. But right now there's some like drug stuff and some innuendo stuff, so you might want to be careful of that. But anyway, we're pretty much at the end of the video, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can leave a like and comment to let me know. Subscribe and click the bell for notifications if you want to see more videos and get notified every single time that I upload a video. And if you like this build and want to play in it, it will be up on the gallery, probably, maybe at some point. I'm really bad about putting builds up, but I'm working on it. And it is base game, like I said, base game in the holiday stuff pack. My origin ID is in the description. That is all. Thank you so much for watching again, and bye.